If you've ever heard any business advice at all, it probably included the importance of having an email list. But is it actually true? Do you really need one? Is there any other way to build a thriving business, or are all these experts and coaches right? As someone who resisted the idea of an email list for a long time too, I completely understand the questions and hesitation. So let's find out if you really need an email list, and if so, how you can use it in a way that feels good to you and attract an aligned audience in the process. So stay tuned. I'm Shawn Miner, and this is Unstuck, a space for heart-centered entrepreneurs to implement both the inner work and outer strategies required to get unstuck and build the impactful, profitable business of their dreams. No hustle, grind, or long hours required. Let's get into today's session. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck podcast. So grateful to have you all here. As always, we are now on episode 3 of the Aligned Audience Attraction series here on Unstuck. That means if you are just listening to this episode as the first of the Aligned Audience Attraction series, and you're just now hearing about it and you're like, what the heck is she talking about? I have done 2 previous episodes, the 2 episodes prior to this one, kind of lining you up and getting you ready for this specific conversation that we are going to have here today. So you don't have to stop this and go back and listen to those right now, but you do also need to listen to those and not just this one. It will make a ton more sense if you do that. So be sure to head back and listen to episode 126 and 127. Here we are on episode 128, where we're talking specifically about the email list. And like I said, it will all come together a lot clearer if you have the other episodes under your belt too. And then we're capping it off. We're rounding it all out. Next episode 129, will be the final episode of the Aligned Audience Attraction series. 4 episodes, all about building an audience, which is one of the, really I'd say probably the biggest question I get as a business coach from all of you who are looking to start your business or grow your business, because we all know it takes getting eyes on your work in order to have a business. In order to make sales, you need an audience. So that's why I decided to do this. And really, there's so much to it that I simply could not fit it all into one giant episode. It would be like hours and hours and hours long. So instead, we're doing a whole series, and here we are 3/4 of the way through. And it seems like you guys are enjoying this series as well. I've been getting lots of feedback from you all. It means so much to get that feedback. If you have a podcast, then you know how it can be kind of lonely to just talk to yourself into a mic as your form of content creation. And so to get the feedback once the episode airs, and just to know that it's landing and that the words you're sharing are actually helping someone really means the world. So that being said, if you are finding these episodes helpful, reach out and let me know. You can send me a direct message on Instagram at UnstuckEntrepreneur, and we can chat over there. All right. As you know, because of the title of this episode, the time has come to talk about a very important topic, and one that some people really don't want to talk about, and that is the email list. Now, this conversation may actually be a surprise to some of you because it's not technically part of the 3-step process of aligned audience attraction that we went over in episode 1. So just as a refresher, step 1 is to know your audience. Who exactly do you help and want to help? Where do they most hang out? How do they consume content? What do they want and need to hear? So step 1, know your audience. Step 2, create consistent content that helps them. You show up and you help them consistently. You create content consistently that is relevant and helpful and inspirational and educational and all of the things that you want to provide to your dream client, you create that specific content. So it's not just any content, it is relevant content. And then step 3, put that content out into the world where your audience hangs out. So can't just create content and keep it all on your computer and just hope that someday someone will telepathically get it and want to work with you. You can't keep it in draft mode. You have to put it out there consistently. And that is the 3rd step. So nowhere in there do we talk about sending them an email. But collecting emails, having an email list, sending out regular emails to your audience is part of the aligned audience attraction model, because there's really no point in attracting this audience if you don't have a way to deepen the relationship and ultimately turn them into paying clients, right? Then we don't have a business. We have a hobby that is really just creating content and pumping out content with no end in sight and no goal in mind. We have a hobby, not a business, when we aren't accepting payments for our services or our products. Let's get into the quote. Just as I was complaining last episode about having a hard time finding female-led quotes, I found one. And it wasn't actually too hard to find one. So the universe listened to my complaint and delivered. This is from someone that probably most of us know, most of us admire, most of us love the work of, and that is Brené Brown, who says, "Connection is why we're here. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives," which I think we can all agree with. Now, let me just change a few of these words and have it relate specifically to what we're going to talk about today. Connection is why we're in business. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our work. Think about it that way. Also, very true and probably resonates with you a lot. And to be honest, I've hesitated to have this email list conversation here on the podcast for a long time, even though I really believe in it and even though I really wanted to. The truth is, all business coaches talk about email lists. It's a huge, huge topic in the business world. There are courses and programs and memberships and obviously tons of podcast episodes, tons of blog posts. There's all kinds of information about the email list. And I really didn't and don't want to just add to the noise without there being really anything extra that I could contribute to this conversation. But at the same time, I also love talking about this kind of thing. It's a big part of the teachings in Unstuck Entrepreneur and has been a big part of my business and my growth. And I really do love getting other people on board. And so when I was considering this episode and considering what an email list has brought to my business and my life and how I teach it to others, I really think this quote from Brené Brown sums it up well from my perspective, because I hope and I think you all know at this point that I don't really ever just get on board with a random business strategy that everyone's talking about just because everyone's talking about it. For me, there has to be something else. It has to really resonate with me in a particular way in order for me to get on board with it. There's a ton of things that I don't do in my business just because I'm like, no, for me, this doesn't make sense. And if you are familiar with Gretchen Rubin's work and the 4 tendencies, I'm a questioner, which means that I will be on board as soon as I get the answers that make sense for me. But until then, I'm like, no, I need more proof. So what brought me on board to having an email list, which like I said in the opening, I was resistant to at the beginning of my business as well. And what I think I can add to the conversation about email lists in the general business coaching world is to bring to you and to remind you of the why behind it. Why do you have an email list? The greater meaning, the bigger why, the true value and importance of an email list, which, yeah, for sure, it's definitely going to be to make sales and have a thriving business and to build this audience of engaged dream clients who will eventually become paying clients. Absolutely. But why does it do that? Let's go one step deeper. And it is because of the ability to make meaningful, strong connections with other human beings. That is what you're doing with your email list. And more importantly, these other people are people that you can help, that you can serve. You can help improve their lives, their health, their relationships, their financial situation, their emotional situation. Like, there's so many possibilities here. And so, yeah, an email list is a collection of emails that you will then send emails to regularly. And I'll give a little bit of a definition for those who are still like totally in the dark with what I'm even talking about. But why are you doing that? What is the bigger purpose here? Let me say that quote from Brene again with my little tweaks. Connection is why we're in business. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our work. How do you create that connection? Well, by far and away, always the best, and trust me, I've tried other things. I've thought maybe there would be another way. Still, as of the time of this recording, which is December 2021, the email list is still by far and away the best way to build that meaningful, strong connection between you and your dream clients. It is not social media. It is not your podcast. It is not your YouTube channel. These are great. We talked about those in the last episode. Great and definitely a must for your business as well. But your email list is where we take that initial connection, like I talked about it last week, going on some dates, and we take it one step further. It's like you go from dating to being in a relationship with your dream clients when they get on your email list. And so we're going to talk more about the benefits and how we can really change our perspective of how we're seeing this tool, because I think a lot of resistance comes up because we're thinking about it being something we have to do, and it was probably just annoying people, and no one really wants to get my emails. I have nothing good to say. We're going to talk about all that. But what I want to do here in the conversation that I think I can bring to the table when it comes to your email list is to lessen that resistance and create more excitement around it because you are reconnected, or maybe connected for the first time, to the real true purpose of it, which is in building a strong, lasting, meaningful relationship with the people that you want to help. And you better believe that going into their inbox once a week and providing something of value to them for free in a way that feels very natural and friendly and normal and just like a chit chat, you better believe that is going to create that connection. All right, got a little tangenty there, got on my soapbox a little bit, but let's bring it back. So obviously you can guess by now that the short answer to the question posed at the beginning and in the title of this email is yeah, you do need an email list. And even more importantly, yes, you do need to actually email them, and email them regularly. And I know, even though I still was just on my soapbox and I was still really trying to invigorate you and your thoughts and ideas about your email list, there are probably still some of you out there right now that are rolling your eyes at me. And you're already putting up these defenses about this conversation. You're already trying to figure out your argument against what I'm saying. And that's cool. If you don't want an email list, if you want to try to figure out another way to create this really strong connection with your people, then do it. And if you already have that and you already have it figured out, great. That is amazing. Good for you. That is so cool. I'm so happy for you. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. But also, I would still encourage you, even though things are working right now, say, for example, you're crushing it on Instagram. You get sales from Instagram. You have all these people coming in and you have no problem making that connection there, and people are seeing your work and the algorithm loves you and all this stuff. Cool. But then remember what happens when Instagram shuts down for a day or a week or a month or forever. Still remember that that relationship is completely out of your control and completely in the control of Instagram. And still remember that that audience is not something that is yours. You're on borrowed land. So do you still have a backup plan for those situations? And if you ask me, and if you ask a lot of other people, the backup plan would be an email list, because that is something that is yours and you have the power still. You are not giving it away to anyone else or any other robot or any other algorithm when you have an email list. All right, so getting back to those of you who may be rolling your eyes at me and might be putting up your defenses around this conversation, what I find is that lots of people resist the email list, and it's even gotten what I would consider a little bit of a bad rap over the years, because we've probably all been a part of or somehow gotten onto an email list of someone who's really annoying and sends a bunch of emails or really annoying sales emails, and really just people who abuse that relationship. And I mean, I have been put on email lists that I know I've never signed up for, and then I get all these annoying emails. And yes, you can always unsubscribe, and that is the beauty of email lists in general, even your email list. But that person or that business who is abusing the email relationship, who is being annoying, who is being salesy, that is not you. That is not who we are as people. So that is just not something that you even need to worry about. And we'll get in more details about why we resist the email list towards the end of the episode. But if you are someone who has that resistance, all I'm going to ask of you right now is to just keep an open mind and keep listening. Now, for those that aren't quite sure what I'm talking about, and I apologize for it taking 17 minutes to get to this explanation, but let's do it here. As a business owner, part of your business will be to collect emails from people who are a good fit for your work and are potentially interested in learning more from you. So you're going to compile them all into an email service provider. There are plenty of them out there these days. You can find the one that works best for you and your budget and how many subscribers you have, how quickly you hope to grow those subscribers, that kind of thing. If you're looking for advice, if you want to know what's best for your situation, I'd be happy to do that with you on a one-to-one basis. Just send me a DM on Instagram at Unstuck Entrepreneur. We can chat about that. I don't want to take the time to do it here because I know a lot of you already have one set up and possibly started. Now, once you have your email service provider set up, and just also, I want to let you know, there are some that you can start for free and you don't actually get charged until you have a decent amount of subscribers. And you're like, yeah, absolutely, charge me. This has been amazing. And I love these people and I want to keep chatting with them. But there are ways to get started for free. So just wanted to put that out there. But once you have that set up, then you are going to regularly email the people that have opted in to get emails from you and build a relationship with them beyond just social media or beyond just your podcast or your YouTube channel or your blog or your website, which we talked about those things last week. And this is taking that relationship one step further. Like I said, it's kind of like when people are listening to your podcast or reading your blog occasionally or watching a few YouTube channels. Those are like going on dates. And then once they put that email into that box and opt in to get newsletters or emails from you, then you are in a relationship. Like change the status on your Facebook or whatever we used to do, whatever that thing was. Do that because now you're in a relationship, which is obviously a big step. And that's really important and something that we want to continue to nurture. So it's not just like, cool, check the box. They signed up for my email list. I have their email. Now I'm just not going to talk to them for 2, 3, 4 months until I have something to offer. No, we do not ghost our list. Once someone has given you that green light, someone has said, okay, yes, I like what you're doing here. I want to hear more from you. Feel free to come into my inbox, which I think we can all agree is pretty protected at this point. We get so many emails. Like I'm very choosy about who I give my email to because I get so many emails and I don't want the clutter. So if someone has said, yes, I want information from you, you better be sending them what they just signed up for. You better be continuing that relationship. That is a really powerful tool. And I think that's where a lot of, at least the business owners that I work with, where I see a little bit of a disconnect when it comes to the email list is maybe they did, create a newsletter sign up form, or they did create a random freebie and they are occasionally getting people on their list. Maybe they have, 20, 30, 50, 100 people, but then they don't talk to them. Like that's not obviously doing anything for your business. And in fact, that's kind of hurting the relationship a little bit, because then when you do go in to email them and it's been 4 months, they're like, who is this person? I don't even remember who you are, what you do. I don't remember what freebie I even signed up for to get this, to get on your list. So I'm going to unsubscribe, when really it could actually be a great fit. But that relationship has dwindled. It's gone cold. When it was a very warm relationship, at the start, when they signed up to learn more from you, we've got to keep that warmth going and keep that connection building. And the great thing about having an email list is once they've opted in, that relationship is now something that you have some power in. It's now a very equal relationship. Whereas when you have a podcast or you're, hoping Instagram will show your content to people, or you have a blog or a YouTube channel, that is still a one-sided relationship. Yes, you are creating the content, but it still is up to that person to decide to listen to that episode, or to log on to YouTube and see what you have had available recently, or to even get or even take the time to read or look at your Instagram post. It's a very one-sided relationship still. It's up to that person. Whereas when you have their email, then you have the ability to be like, hey, I really want to send an email today. I have something really cool to share with you, something that will really help you. Here I am at the top of your email inbox at the time and day that I have decided would be the best and most powerful for you to hear this. And here I am. And yes, they'd still have to open the email and read it, but at least that relationship is equal at that point, instead of it being all one-sided. So I hope that makes sense when we're talking in terms of actually sending emails once you collect that person's email from the start, just continuing to build that relationship. So getting your email list started and growing is a top priority, and really something that should be done day one of your business, or really even potentially before you even get going and officially are in business. You could still start your email list and start collecting emails and start nurturing that relationship while you're working on your first paid offer or something like that. And it is something also that, yes, you really put a lot of emphasis on at the beginning of your business or before you even start your business, but that doesn't change as you continue to build, as you get bigger, as your business grows. First of all, the reason why it grew is because of your email list. And that is also something that continues to need that attention and that focus and that nourishment from you all the time. So it's not really something that just you have to do right at the beginning and then it can just go away and you don't have to worry about it ever again, and you don't have to send emails. That's not how it works. It is something that will continue to be equally, if not more important, as your business continues to grow. Now, the one thing, well, there's a lot of things, but a really great thing that I love about having an email list and about that email list being a very big piece of my business and something that I spend a lot of time on and I regularly send emails to, and I have built these really awesome relationships with the people on my email list, is that you don't have to worry about social media. You don't have to rely on social media so much for everything that you're doing in your business and for trying to build and grow and get sales and get clients. None of that matters when it comes to social media really at all. As a lot of you know, I use social media as the cherry on top when it works for me, when I have something to say, something purposeful, or when it's fun and I have the opportunity. And so my relationship with social media isn't like a have-to thing. And I know a lot of you, especially a lot of clients that I have, don't really love social media and don't really want to rely on it, don't really want to have to post every day, don't want to feel that overwhelm with what to post and why am I not getting any likes? Why am I not getting any new followers? Why am I not getting any new comments? I'm clearly doing something wrong. Like we can get in this big spiral of thought when we have social media as something that is a have to. But when you can move it into the space where it's something that you get to do, that you want to do simply because it's a cherry on top and not an actual driver of your business, then it just feels a lot different. There's a lot less pressure, there's a lot less stress, and a lot less heaviness around social media. And the reason I feel that way is because of the email list that I have and that I've been working to build since day one of my business. And yes, I did try. I probably spent about a month not doing it. So I guess I'll say day 30 of my business. I spent about a month thinking and trying to figure out what is another way. Like, do I really need to do this? I don't want to be that person that's emailing and being annoying. What else can I do? And I still came back to the email list. So, 9 years down the road now, and it's been a really big piece of my business. And I am so grateful because of that shift I have been able to have when it comes to social media and not get involved in all of the overthinking of having a social media platform. And for me, I just see so many people who really put so much effort and so much time into getting more followers and zero effort into building their email list. And it seems so backwards to me and quite frankly, like a recipe for disaster. Like, why are you putting so much time and effort into a thing that you immediately lose all power and control over, that someone may or may not even see? Like, what is it, like 1% of your audience actually even sees your social media posts these days? And, if they do happen to see it, it's for 0.5 seconds as they're scrolling, and then it's gone forever and they never think about it again. It's like you put an hour into creating this awesome post and 1% of people even potentially see it, and then whatever percentage of that actually read it, and then whatever percentage of that actually let it sink in. It's like, wow, that's a lot of wasted time potentially. And that is not the case for your email list. You could spend that hour writing this awesome email and delivering it to these people who want to hear from you, have said, yes, I raise my hand, I want to hear from you, delivering it to those people and actually having them take the time to read and even be able to click on things and go directly to another piece of content you created or something else that you are interested in having and sharing with them, or a paid offer. Whoa, imagine that. So, it's again, another tangent situation I'm in, but as you can see, I feel very strongly about all of this, and I hope you can feel that through your earbuds. But let's get back to the ultimate goal of this episode, which is to remind you, or maybe bring to light for the first time ever, that your email list is your place to show up, serve, support, and build trust and connection with your future clients. And it's also the place that you'll let these clients know about those paid offers that you have. So yes, you will send just regular general emails with some tips, tricks, tools, maybe some resources, maybe a blog post you've written that you can now put into an email. There's lots of different things that you can do in those emails, and we're going to save that discussion for next episode. But you can and will and should send emails about your paid offers as well as you have them come up. And people on your email list expect you to do that. They are okay with you doing that. It is something that they opted into. They know that you are in business, which means they know you have something to sell, and they know that you are occasionally going to offer it to them. And that's totally fine and expected and great and part of being in business. I mean, even people who have massive followings on social media will still tell you that the vast majority of their sales come from their email list. It is the easiest way for your clients to be able to take that next step with you. Think about it. Hearing it on a podcast episode or while scrolling on social or while watching a YouTube video, hearing about a paid offer, it's a lot harder and not very convenient for that person to then go to that link. Like they either have to type the link, they have to go to your bio, they have to find your website, they have to stop what they're doing. Like if they're driving and they're listening to a podcast episode and you say, hey, this thing is on sale right now, they can't do anything about that. And then by the time they get home, it's out of their mind and they don't remember the link. So it's just not meant to be and they go about their lives. If you show up in their email, even if they're driving, which hopefully you're not checking your email and driving, but let's just say you're at a stoplight or in traffic, you still will remain in their email inbox the next time they check when they're at home and they have some time and they're at their computer. And then they have that direct link. All they have to do is push one click and they're at that point where they can then take action and become a paid client. Big difference, a lot more convenient. And if we're talking in terms of being of service and being helpful to your audience, well, that is another way to be helpful, is to make it as simple and as easy of a process to get the help they need by working with you. All right. I hope I've done a pretty good job explaining just how incredibly important it is to have an email list for your business, especially for those of you who were skeptical from the start. Now I want to work on shifting your mindset around having this email list so that you can see it as the asset that it is for your business instead of just another thing you have to do that you don't want to do, which I think is how most of you are feeling about it right now. Like, okay, cool, fine, I'm going to do it. Sean says I should. So let me put it on my to-do list and eventually I'll get to it. And this is going to be so awful. I don't know what to say. I don't really want to write this thing, but I have to. That is not what we are here to do, my friends. That is not the mindset that will get you to this place of building a strong connection with those people who want to hear from you. They will pick up on that vibe of, oh, this is something she had to do. She felt like she should send me an email today, so that she just came up with something and you can tell she doesn't really want to. That is not the vibe we want to give off, obviously, for our business. And that's not really a vibe that you want to have in your business at all. This is meant to be fun and exciting and simple and a way for you to do what you love and create a schedule that you want and just do your own thing. That's what we want this business to be. So starting to feel like you have all of these shoulds and have tos doesn't really put you into the same vibe, right? So let's get back to feeling good about the email list situation. And from what I see, there are really like two main reasons why people resist the email list. We talked about one big one earlier, which is that you think you're being annoying. And like I said, I think we all think this because we've been in that situation where we are the receiver of really annoying emails. And so we think that's how people feel about us when we are the ones sending the emails. Here's what you need to know. If you are providing value, if you are being yourself and connecting with that person who's on the receiving end, you will not be annoying. You will not annoy them. They will look forward to your emails and they will open them. They will read every word. They will probably reply even, which is amazing. And that is how you know you're not being annoying. So you don't have to worry about it. Provide value. Be yourself. So like I mentioned, it really helps to write the email as if you were having coffee with that person and just talking about this thing. Use a very conversational tone. Put in as much of your personality as you can, and they'll look forward to opening the emails because it won't be this like professional newsletter. It will be more of like a chat with a friend where they're also getting some really good advice and potentially a link to continue working further with this person that they feel really connected to. So provide value, be yourself, connect with that person. Another thing that kind of goes along with the annoying thought is that you might be too pushy or salesy or sleazy, those kinds of situations. As I said, people are expecting to occasionally get a sales email from you. And I just know this, and I hope you know this about yourself too. There is like no way that you could be a used car salesman and just be pushy and salesy like that. There's just no way. It's not the kind of person that you are. It's not the kind of person that most of us are. And yet we have had that experience with one person, one email list we've been on, and it's like, geez, just leave me alone. I'm not interested. This is kind of annoying. That is not you, because you are providing value. You have the bigger picture. You know the connection that you've built is so strong that all you have to do is let this person know what's available as a paid offer, how it can help them, the journey that they will go on with you, and they can make the best decision for them. And that's what you're really trying to do. That's really the goal of having a sales email. In both these cases, it really is one of those situations where the people that have no chance of actually being that thing are worried about being that thing. Like, for example, a pushy used car salesman doesn't spend 1 second being worried that he's too pushy. So if you're worried about being pushy when you sell, it's because you're not that thing. You're not a pushy used car salesman. And so you're worried about being that, but you're not. And it's just like you're not annoying, which is why you're worried about being annoying. If you were the person sending annoying emails, then you wouldn't think about it at all. It wouldn't even cross your mind. I hope that makes sense because it's so true. It's like the things that we're worried about being are the things that we just couldn't even be if we tried, you know? And so hopefully that can give you a little bit of assurance that, like, even if you really tried to be annoying and salesy and pushy and used car salesman and annoying and emailing these people all the time with annoying things, you couldn't be because it's just not who you are. So you don't have to worry about it. And if you're really still struggling with that fear that you're going to annoy these people that signed up for your email list, then get back to the purpose of it all. And as I've mentioned a few times now, this really is the whole purpose of this email, and what I can contribute to the conversation about email lists is the actual purpose of having that email list, of getting those emails from people who are your dream clients. Why are you doing it in the first place? It's to serve and support another human. That is it. And connecting with them via email is the best way to provide that support, that encouragement, that help, whatever they're needing. It's the way for you to connect with them. So how could that possibly be annoying? If you lead with that purpose above all else, you will not be annoying, and you won't need to sell a darn thing because people will want to work with you. They will be asking how they can pay you to get more from you. If you stick with that purpose to help, support, and serve another human through these emails. And one last thing I wanted to bring up at the end of this episode was this idea of not knowing what to say, which I think is a big barrier for a lot of people to start their email list or to not ghost their email list and to continue sending emails, is like, I don't really know what to put in these things. I love you all so much, but I personally see that as an excuse. That is an excuse that your ego is giving you to not have to do this thing. And it is really wrapped up more so in potentially a fear of saying the wrong thing, of not being of service, of not doing it right, of being annoying like we just talked about. There's this underlying thing there that keeps you from sending these emails, and it's masked as, well, I don't know what to say. And once you stop worrying about being annoying, about saying the wrong things, and you get excited to connect with your people, and I really hope that you seeing the purpose of all of this, like we just talked about, will help you get that excitement and will help you kind of retract from that fear or that worry. You'll know exactly what to say. As soon as you get there, as soon as you stop worrying, and as soon as you get excited, as soon as you connect with that purpose, you'll know what to say. And it could be just a quick note of encouragement. Like just the other day before Thanksgiving, all I did was send thank you notes to my email list. Nothing to say besides thank you for being here. And that was one of the most engaged emails I've had. So it could be something as simple as that, or maybe you have a piece of advice. Maybe it's something that you're loving right now and you think they might like it too. Maybe it's a recipe you just tried or just created and want to now share it. And of course, you can also and should also be sharing your tool. If you have a new podcast episode, a new blog post out, you should be sharing that to those people on your email list so they can take part in that content as well. And of course, you will also talk about your paid content in those emails too. So while I truly believe that you will know exactly what to say as soon as you get over that ego voice about your email list and really step into your own power of connecting with another human, you'll know what to say. But I will still share some more ideas and strategies in the next episode, which is the final episode of the Aligned Audience Attraction series. And I just really quickly want to tease something. If this whole conversation seems like something that you're ready to do in your business or really ready to start putting some real attention towards, well, great news. I have something that is going to help you. It is coming up beginning of January. So stay tuned. Be sure to listen to the next episode 4 of the Aligned Audience Attraction series, and it will be episode 129 of the overall Unstuck. And I'll share more details about how you can get more help with this particular section of your business. And something else we'll talk about next episode is how to actually get people on your list. So once you've built this audience, you start having people in your circle, how do you get them to take the next step to actually be in a relationship, to go from going on dates to being in a relationship and putting their email in that box to say, yes, I want to learn more from you. We will talk about all of that in the next episode. And until next time, take care. Hey friend, real quick before you go, don't forget to head over to my website and take the quiz to find out your solopreneur personality type. I've created a super fun, super informative 2-minute quiz that will show you which one of the 4 solopreneur personality types you fall into. Could it be the boss, the socialite, the visionary, or the supporter? Which one are you? Not only is it just fun to know more about yourself, especially as it relates to your business, but it's also really important information so you can be sure that you're building a business that works for you based on your energy, your personality, and your desires. Did you ever take those quizzes from the Cosmopolitan magazine back in the day? It's kind of like that, but with actual solid questions and real helpful tips and advice at the end. You can find the What's Your Solopreneur Personality Type quiz right on the homepage of my website at shawnminer.com. Head there now to take the quiz, then let me know over on Instagram at UnstuckEntrepreneur what your type is. I'll see you over there.